Hey, I hope everybody's doing good. Man, one of the most frustrating things is when you are doing all that you can do to make something work and it seems like nothing is working. And one of the things I found out when I get into these spaces where nothing is working or my efforts are not producing the fruit that I desire to see. Then when you're in these moments, man, you have to then pause a moment and then just stop. I've come to realize that versus getting overwhelmed or frustrated or feeling like man, I'm doing something wrong. It's just a matter of stopping. And when you stop, you have to pause for a moment and then go to God and hear God. My doctor and I were having a conversation. We were talking about the fact that she's getting ready to move to out of state. And so she said and I said, well, how did you form your decision for this? Or, how did you do that? Because she had these long-term goals that was revolving primarily around this area. And so she said, you have to come to a point when you realize that, that some things are not working because you're not obeying God. And it just rang in my spirit because that is so true. Because sometimes we can be fighting to push our will and our agenda, and although we know God told us to do something, it's about God's timing. It's also about um, God's leading and direction and favor over your life in the season that it needs to have the favor over it. And so versus you just running off and doing what you feel to do, then sometimes you have to pause a moment and just stop everything and then go back to the drawing board. And that means just go back to the birthing place, go back to the place where you heard God and get real direction from that time frame, so that you can then move forward in what God has called you to do. And so just know that whatever God has called you to do, because this is what he told Joshua, right? He tells Joshua, listen, follow me from a distance because you've not been this way before. I know you have a charge. I know y'all are excited about getting into the promised land. I know you all are excited about the next level, the next thing. And so when we get excited about something, man, we go running and we just go charging and we just go headstrong and just doing that thing. And so a lot of times what we have to realize is we have to follow God from a distance. Now, why would he say put distance between you and the covenant? Why would you have to put distance between you and God? And that is because our excitement, our emotions of where we're going can sometimes overshadow the voice of God and the direction of God. And so, which means the voice of God, the direction of God is still there, but our emotions and our excitement has now clouded that and making us go towards something sooner than what we need to go towards it. Or we miss God's turning, or we miss God stopping, and then we just keep going because we're so excited about it. And so I just want to encourage you today that if you're working on something and something is not working the way you thought it would work, or is not doing the thing that you thought it would do, then you have to then go to a place and just stop. Get to a quiet place. One of my preferred things to do is to take a 3 day break. Right, just take 3 days, cancel everything, and get to a place and sit quiet before God. Just me and God, right? And I might incorporate a trusted advisor. I definitely will incorporate my wife into that, and I incorporate, you know, some mentors, or my pastor, somebody also that is agreeing to fast and pray with me during that time, and someone that I can call and say, here, I'm hearing this, and I just want to see, what was resonating in your spirit about that. Because sometimes, man, when we get our emotions tied to a vision, we get our emotions tied to outcomes, and then when our emotions are tied to outcomes, then man, we start to force outcomes. We start to force now something working. And so, and and then when it's not working the way we thought it would work, then we want to, we feel depleted, we feel like a failure, and so forth. There's some things the enemy would never have to attack. Only thing he has to do is cause you to move faster than what you're supposed to be moving, and to go in a direction you're not supposed to be going. And that can cause you so much frustration that he never has to send discouragement. He never has to send anyone to block you. He never has to use haters. He never has to frustrate your vision, and none of those things, because he knows that you have a tendency to move faster than what you're supposed to be moving, to go after something that you're not supposed to be going after at that particular time, or you have a tendency to take shortcuts. And I know that within me, there's times in my life, man, I just want to take a shortcut and just cut out all this process and go right to the very thing that I'm supposed to go to, but not knowing and not realizing that it's the process. It is the process that makes me. It's the process that helps develop me for that next season and that next level and that next thing. And so when God said, when he told Joshua, follow me from a distance because you've not been this way before, my mind went to, wait a minute, I thought Joshua was one of the ones that him and Caleb was part of the crew that spied out the land and all those things. And so how has it they've been going around this mountain for 40 years, so I know they've come past this place before. But then at the same time, Joshua, you wasn't in leadership then before. Yes, you've been by here, but you wasn't charged to go through here, and you wasn't the man that was in charge. So therefore, you're different. And the last time you was over here was a year ago, 2 years ago. Sometimes you've gone and tried something before, and you're like, man, okay, now it's time. It's that season. But God is saying, I know you've tried this before, but theoretically, yes, you've been here, but you've not been this way before. You have not been the man, the woman you are, the man you are, the leader you are. You have not been in this position before. And so now that you have this opportunity to move forward, I want you to follow me from a distance. I want you to slow down a minute and hear me when I speak. See me when I move. When I stop, you stop. When I turn, you turn. When I move, you move. And that's how we have to do it. And that's how we have to go about with God, because we don't want our emotions and our excitement about that next level, that next thing, to just cause us to run without following God. And so I just want to encourage you that if you're in that frustrating season where you're trying everything and nothing seems to be working, and every time you come up with this idea, it doesn't work out, and every time you come up with that idea, it doesn't work out. And let me tell you something, man, there's times we come up with ideas that we can swear it was from God, because it's not, hey, I don't think like this, so God had to give me this idea. But one of the things I've come to realize, desperation can give you ideas too. Desperation can birth some ideas in your mind that will cause, it's not the way you think, but it's the fact that you were being desperate in that moment. And I just believe that followers of God would never have to be in a place of desperation, because they always would know what God is up to. And that's just what I believe. I just believe that if I don't know what God is up to in my life, it's out of one of two things. I'm not listening, or he has me in a place of a testing, right? That I'm going through this test, and I have to now just rely and stay faithful to what he told me to do the last time. And I just stay doing that. Like I don't have to do anything different than what the last thing I heard. And now if you're having problems hearing, you have to get in that space so you can hear God. For me, it take 3 days. Now sometimes it takes longer than 3 days. Sometimes you may have to fast a little longer, pray a little longer, whatever that case is. But just get to that place where you can hear God for your vision, your direction, in the space that you're going in, so that you can now move forward in a way that is productive and you feel productive every day. I don't like to fake productivity. And a lot of times we be in these spaces where we have to fake productivity. We just find one thing that we did, like, oh man, we did this, and we just highlight and write off of that. But no, you don't have to fake productivity. You're being productive every day that you follow God. And every day of productivity may not feel like the same the day before. It may yield more fruit than the day before. But whatever it is, just stay faithful to what God told you and don't move faster than him. Don't go ahead of him. Um, it's funny because when Jesus was tempted in the wilderness, one of the last things the Bible says that Satan took him up on the pinnacle and showed him all the kingdoms of the world. And he said, if you just bow down and worship me, I give you all of this. And when you research that word bow, that wasn't like a full knee. It was like an agreement. If you just agree. And sometimes the enemy will tempt you with shortcuts and say all you have to do is agree to this way, that you're going to follow my direction. Nobody has to know this direction came from me, but I just want you. But if me and you agree, then you have all of this. Let me just tell you something, man. There is no shortcuts when it comes down to the vision and the dreams that God has put inside of you. There is no shortcuts. No matter what, Jesus had to go to the cross. And no matter what, we have to die daily. And no matter what, we have to go through the process. And I just want to encourage you, as you go through the process, connect with somebody that can coach you through the process, that can pray with you through the process, that can speak encouragement to you through the process. And whatever those people are, just allow that to encourage your heart. Because as you go through the process, I guarantee you, man, you're going to come out on the other side much better, and you're going to walk into your promise. You're going to walk into your next season so much better than what you would have if you just kept running. So be encouraged. I hope y'all have a blessed day, man. And don't forget, subscribe, hit the bell, and make a comment. Leave something. Let me know if these videos are helping you in any way. And look in the description below. I'll show you some things where you can connect with us in other ways. Peace.